Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about a concept that honestly might just change how you approach, well, everything. We're going to break down the massive difference between setting goals and building systems. So let me ask you this. What if that big, shiny goal you've been chasing is the very thing holding you back? I know, it sounds completely backward, right? But stick with me because we're about to unpack a pretty powerful idea that the real secret to getting where you want to go isn't staring at the finish line. It's all about the journey you take every single day. All right, let's dive into what I call the goal trap. Think about it. From the time we're kids, we're told, set big goals, be ambitious. But here's the catch. When you're constantly, and I mean constantly, staring at that distant finish line, you can actually set yourself up for failure. It's this weird trap where obsession can totally backfire, making it less likely you'll ever get there. So if that's the trap, what's the way out? What's the alternative? Well, it all starts with getting a new mindset. And that means we need to get super clear on two key words: goals and systems. They might sound kinda similar, but trust me, understanding the difference, well, it changes everything. Okay, so first up, a goal. Think of a goal as a one-time thing. It's the what. It's the X that marks the spot on your treasure map. Run a marathon, get that promotion, write a book. You reach it and boom, you're done. A system, though, that's totally different. It's not the what, it's the how. A system isn't the destination at all. It's the process you follow over and over and over again. It's the journey. It's that training plan you follow every week, good day or bad. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the goals, the destinations. Lose 20 pounds, get an A, make $1 million. Then on the other side, you have the systems, the journey. Eating healthy, studying every day, actually building and marketing your product. See the difference? One is the result you want, the other is the action you take. And here's where it all clicks. The goal is super useful, but only at the very beginning. It's like a compass. It points you in the right direction. But the system? The system is the engine that actually moves you forward. And once that engine is humming along, you don't need to keep staring at the compass, right? You just need to drive. Okay, let's talk about the psychology of failure for a second, because there's a real hidden downside to focusing only on goals. In fact, there are two huge psychological traps that so many of us fall into, and they can completely derail our progress.
So the first big problem is this. When you're chasing a specific goal, you're pretty much living in a constant state of failure until you get there. You're always not good enough yet. You're always falling short. And that feeling of not there yet day after day, man, it's just so demotivating.
Take a look at this. Let's say your goal is to lose 30 pounds, and you've lost 10. That's incredible, right? That's real progress. But what does the goal-obsessed brain focus on? It doesn't see the 10 pounds you've lost. No, it sees the 20 pounds you still have to go. So even when you're winning, you feel like you're losing. It's a recipe for frustration. But okay, what about when you actually hit the goal? You finally did it. Well, that brings us to the second problem. That amazing feeling of achievement you were chasing, it's surprisingly quick. It's fleeting. You build it up so much in your head and then poof, it's gone. It's like this timeline shows. You hit your 100K goal and you feel great for a little while. Then that feeling just fades and becomes the new normal. So what's next? Well, now you need a 200K goal to feel that rush again. You're basically stuck on what you could call an achievement treadmill, constantly chasing a feeling that never really lasts. All right, so if focusing only on goals is so flawed, what do we do instead? How do we actually build a system that works, one that gets us results without all that psychological baggage? Let's get into the practical side of this and break down a simple framework. It really comes down to these 3 simple steps. First, you pick a direction. Second, you ask good questions. And third, you experiment and readjust. The real beauty here is that this isn't some rigid, set-in-stone plan. It's a flexible loop. It's all about continuous improvement. Okay, that might sound a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. Let's see how this system works in action, with a story. We'll call our guy Mike, and Mike has a goal that a lot of people have, but it feels massive. He wants to write a book. So let's meet Mike. He's got step 1 down. He picked his direction. He wants to write a book, but just thinking of that as a goal, wow, it's huge, right? It's totally paralyzing. It feels like you're standing at the bottom of a mountain. So Mike moves on to step 2. He asks a good question, a really simple one, actually. How does someone write a book? And the answer is just as simple. They write every single day. And just like that, he had the core of his system. But, of course, it's not always that easy. When Mike actually tried to do it, he hit the same roadblocks we all face. After a long day at his job, he had zero energy. Or he'd sit down and just nothing. No motivation, no inspiration. Sound familiar? And this is where step 3 comes in, the experiment and readjust part. He didn't give up, he tinkered with the system. He was too tired in the afternoon? Okay, he switched his writing time to the morning. He couldn't get in the zone, he created a dedicated writing space. He couldn't get started? He used the 2-minute rule. Just commit to 2 minutes. See? He wasn't failing. He was just tweaking the system, making it better. And this is the powerful shift in his thinking. His goal was no longer this gigantic, scary thing called write a book. No, his new goal was tiny. It was just start writing at 7 a.m. for 2 minutes. That's it. If he did that, he won the day. Period. And his system was alive. It was always evolving. He built in this simple weekly review for himself. He just asked, okay, what worked this week and what didn't? This let him constantly fine-tune his process, throwing out what didn't work and keeping what did. The system just got stronger and stronger. And that right there is the number one takeaway. This is the whole point. A really great system will absolutely get you to your destination, but it does it without all the stress and frustration of chasing some distant goal. You just commit to the process, and the results, they just kind of take care of themselves. So I want to leave you with this question. It's not, what big goal do you want to achieve? Instead, ask yourself this. What system can I build today that will make me just a little bit better than I was yesterday? Because when you have the right system in place, you're not just hitting targets, you're actually becoming the person you want to be, one small step at a time.